the same instruction, but a different example. So in this case, what I want to do is illustrate these really light pink star-like lines that are radiating from the center towards the edges of the petal. So once again, I'm going to start off the same way as I did before. I'm going to go to the pencil tool, and I'm going to set a bunch of placeholders in blue. So I'm just going to draw, whoops, that wasn't a very good job. So I see these lines sort of radiating out from the center of the flower. I used to have an assignment where I would have my students illustrate flowers, and I got tired of it. But I still like this example to discuss drawing lines and strokes and stuff like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move one of these to the side, and I'm going to design it to try to match the way that this appears to me. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Maybe that'll make it easier for you to see what the line looks like. You can see, you'll notice that it's wide at the bottom, and it comes to a point. So once again, I'm going to look for a profile that looks like that. Okay, so here's the profile that matches that description. Now, unfortunately, the profile at the weight that I have is not as wide as the example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that line and make the stroke wider. So now it's starting to have the same width at the bottom that the original, the photograph, has. So once again, I just selected the line, applied the profile that looks like a triangle, and I changed the stroke weight to make it thicker. Now I also need to sample the color. So I'm going to release my line. I'm going to go to the eyedropper. I'm going to sample that light pink, and I'm going to store this color for me to use. So I'm dragging and dropping it, and I'm going to apply that same light pink to the color of this stroke. See that it's there. And in a similar manner, I'm going to go to Effect. I'm going to go to Photoshop Effects, go to Blur, and select Gaussian Blur. Activate Preview, and I'm going to blur this object a little bit. And then last but not least, I'm going to change the opacity. And the reason I'm changing the opacity is that the veins look, or these details look like they're inside the petal, not floating on top. So I'm trying to construct a similar illusion. So you'll notice that my example is still too opaque. It's just too opaque. It's too saturated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the opacity even further, maybe at 50%. Maybe at 40%. So you'll notice that I'm testing my features to try to get the best outcome. So I think it's very rare that you're going to find the solution by the first option that you select. Right, so now it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So I've spent a couple of minutes designing this line, this little effect, this detail. So I'm going to store this. So let me show you how I would store it. I'm going to drag and drop this into the graphical style panel. So it's stored there. And now I'm going to select all of the lines that I would like to appear that way, and I'm going to click on that button. So when I click on the button, it will apply it to the rest. So this basically shows that if I develop a strategy for developing the details throughout the potential illustration, I'm really only drawing or designing one line, spending time with that, because I can make a clone out of the way that it appears on other lines. So if I look at the veins in this petal, I only need to design one. I have a bunch of placeholders, and then I would apply it. If I'm going to draw the veins in these leaves, I would attack it the same way. So I'll just design the way that one vein looks. I'll place a lot of placeholders, and then I'll store my design line in Graphical Styles and apply it later.